Hi everyone, and welcome to a camera comparison that I thought would be very interesting to do. It is the iPhone 12 Pro with its 12 megapixel front facing camera that supports up to 4K 60 up against the Galaxy Z Fold 2. 10 megapixel front facing cameras. It has two, there's an inner one, but this is the outer, and it also does support 4K 60. So in this camera comparison, I'm going to be comparing side by side, swapping the audio sources. I'm going to take a look at low light, stills, portrait mode, ultra wide, 2x optical cameras on the rear. They are almost the same in terms of specs. So we are looking at 12 megapixel, 3 rear cameras on both of these phones here. One is the main. We also have the 2x optical, and we also have the ultra wide. So 3 cameras on the rear, very, very similar. So right now, let me know in the comments, which one do you think for the vlog quality, I'm going to jog ahead now, is the best, has the best stability? Let us know. And which one do you think has the best audio quality here as well? Let's take a look now at the rear cameras. So I'm shooting with 4K 60 option on both of them, and both of them have face detection autofocus, but it's dual pixels, so it is very, very good. It gets a lock onto my hand great, as you can see as I move it about. So no problems with the focus. Now they both have optical plus electronic image stabilization right here to make that footage very nice and smooth and steady. Now both of them do sometimes exhibit a bit of what I call panning judder. You will probably notice it. That seems to be in very bright conditions. So when I move about, you may see one of them sort of jerk a little bit in that motion. I'm trying to be as smooth as possible right here. It may be coming through. Now, what about stabilization? I'm going to quickly jog up these stairs right here. Let me know in the comments which one do you think looks the steadiest. Bear in mind they're both on the same bracket, so both moving around in the same exact motions here. We'll test that focus one more time. And they both tend to handle wind noise a little bit differently. The iPhone 12 Pro seems to apply a filter to it that can make the audio sound muffled. All right, and another stability test side by side. This is it mounted on my dash. It's in a bracket, both of the phones here. So I'm not holding or touching this. I can drive with both of my hands. So again, which one here do you think is the most steady? So I'm just going to go up a little bit of a speed bump right here. And it looks to me like, I think the Galaxy Z Fold 2 is bumping around a little bit more. But which one's got the best auto exposure changes? Remember, I'm just using the auto video mode here. This is 4K 30 frames per second now using the ultra wide. So when I shoot in 4K 30, I can swap over the cameras with the Galaxy Fold 2. And you can't do it with the 4K 60 that I showed you just before, which is unfortunate. So good quality here with both of them, with the ultra wides using, of course, electronic image stabilization. I'm going to tap now to go over to the main sensor. This is now the main sensor. This one has the optical image stabilization. Just jog a little bit. So which one is steadier here with those more aggressive movements? It's both of these phones are on the same bracket too, by the way. And now I'm going to go to 2x optical zoom, and this also does have optical image stabilization. Walking ahead, which one here looks the steadiest out of the two between the Z Fold 2 and the iPhone 12 Pro? So the Galaxy Z Fold 2 actually has a trick up its sleeve, and I can use the rear cameras as front-facing cameras, is what I'm doing right now. So we can get an ultra-wide here for video, fitting a lot in the shot. It looks weird, my arm here and hand, because, well, I'm basically holding up a tablet, so you look like a bit of an idiot doing so as well. But you gain some really good quality. So this is now the main rear camera used as a selfie camera. Very, very good quality here. And of course, it does actually support that dual pixel face detection autofocus. So if I move it to look over here at the background, you're able to do so, and it focuses on that, and then bring myself back into the shot here, and I am now in focus. So this is very, very good here. And a little bit of a trick you can do if you don't mind looking like you're holding up a tablet. And I can also go as far as using 2x optical, which, yeah, it's way too close. I wouldn't be using this at all. And now a 4K 30 frames per second sample, full screen this time with the iPhone 12 Pro. Excellent quality. I really do like it. And you kind of see why a lot of YouTubers and people on Instagram or whatever like the iPhones, because of this excellent front-facing camera quality you get with not only video but also with stills. And onto night mode now. This is 4K 60 frames per second with the front facing cameras. So electronic image stabilization on both of them, but it isn't actually looking as good, of course, as daylight. This is difficult conditions for these tiny little sensors. So I'm going to do a little bit of a jog here. Which one do you think is performing the best, the front facing camera, with low light conditions right now? Rear video now, 4K 60 again. Which one here do you think is doing the best? So the electronic image stabilization does show a little bit of jarring coming through on both. What about if I pan around really slowly here? What has the most noise in the sky? Are we going to see panning, judder come through? And a little jog now ahead too. Ultrawide video, this is 4K 30 now because the Fold 2 cannot do 4K 60 ultrawide. So again, in the comments, let me know which one here do you think, oh, a bit of a glitch just then. That's that same bug I'm seeing with the Galaxy Fold 2. So it does that little bit of a jarring effect with the electronic image stabilization. This is a bug that I've seen and it's in my review. It seems to be happening right now, but only with the ultrawide. So I think here, the iPhone 12 Pro is definitely doing better at low light ultrawide video. 2x optical zoom camera footage now, 4K 30 again. And it looks to me like there's less noise on the iPhone 12 Pro, but I need to get this on my computer, look at it on my 4K monitor, and I'll let you know at the end of this video which one I think is the best here too for the zoom cameras. Oh wow, so this is really unexpected, and this is why I love doing these camera comparisons. All right, so I'll start out with my thoughts on the video. So the front-facing camera vlog video, I think the iPhone 12 Pro, I prefer this one, better contrast. The Samsung just seemed to be too bright, brightening up the shadows far too much there. Rear video, very close in daylight on the main cameras. It really depends on your preference, but I think the iPhone did have a bit of a problem with the terrible auto exposure pulsing or flashing, which kind of ruined the footage. So for me, the Fold 2 main camera was actually the better there. So electronic image stabilization and the optical on the main camera, when I was running, the Fold 2 clearly was the best. And the iPhone kind of went all over the place. But when I had it mounted in my car, it was a little more steady. And I found then the iPhone 12 Pro actually looked the better with the stabilization. Also, the 2x optical and the ultra-wide electronic image stabilization I feel was better on the iPhone 12 Pro. Better sharpness and just the stabilization there was overall better. Sound, they are very close at times. I think the iPhone can sometimes sound a little bit muffled depending on what camera you're using. It's very strange it does this. It sometimes happens, it sometimes doesn't. So I'm going to have to give the win there for the sound, just out of my experience now using both, to actually the Samsung because of that muffled issue on the microphones sometimes. Low light video. Okay, the main camera on the iPhone was better, okay? The ultra wide on both of them with low light video was very poor, but the iPhone, I think, came out a bit better, but it had some sort of frame rate issue as well, dropping frames and a bit of judder when you panned around. So on to our still photography now. Daylight stills. Portraits look the best for me. This is personal preference on the iPhone. But the color is a little bit too warm. They need to tone that down a little bit. I think the color came out better on the portraits, more natural looking on the Fold 2. And the colors as well, I think it tend to be better actually on the Fold 2. I think the colors came out sometimes a little too cool on the iPhone 12 Pro. Again, this is down to personal preference. It's subjective. The 2x optical cameras, very close again, but I think in daylight at least, the Fold 2's 2x optical camera was actually sharper with a little bit more detail, so I preferred that one. Now, low light, this is where there was a bit of a shock. I didn't expect this. I just thought that it would be the underdog, the Fold 2 here. So I think it just came out a lot more pleasant. Really big surprise here. Just the lights, so the street lights and the low light night shots came out better. The colors were more closer to life versus the iPhone 12 Pro. The ultra wide just completely dominated on the Fold 2. It had less noise. It came out better with the lights again. And yeah, big surprise there. Colors again with the low light. I think the iPhone was a little bit too cool sometimes there as well. And again, I think colors just slightly better on the Samsung. So there we go, a lot of big surprises and others not so much with the video, the front-facing video quality. Thank you so much for watching this detailed, in-depth comparison. I hope you did like this video and the effort I put into it. I spent a whole day traveling around, 2 different trips, daytime then going out at night, just to get these shots, just to compare it all for you. So the least you could do, please, is just a thumbs up to say thank you, and why not sub for more up-and-coming videos from me. And I'll see you in the next one.